Hey, welcome to the Keep It 808 YouTube channel. If you guys like this content, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Be sure to check out the full episode on Spotify, Castbox, and Apple Podcasts. Mahalo and keep it 808. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 808 podcast. I'm your host, Richard, and I'm here with my boy, Matt.
What's going on?
And this is going to be this is the pilot episode to the podcast. I'm very new to this.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually my first little time venturing out to anything of this kind of sorts. I've always been into cinematography and photography, but this is a little bit out of my realm. So please excuse for any amateur mistakes you might see along the way, but hopefully the quality is not too bad and you guys are sticking it through to the very end. So we're just going to talk a little bit about ourselves, and the overall topic about this podcast today is going to be about college life and how we got about into college, what the experience was like from both of our ends. And we'll go from there. So, Matt, if you don't mind, could you start us off a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess a little bit about myself. My name is Matt, Matthew Sheu. I'm 23 years old, about to turn 24. That's crazy, man. I can't believe that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, went to the University of Houston. That's actually how we met. We met in this little student org called ABSA, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Rich have been chill ever since. I think what else happened in college? I studied supply chain management, everything like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a little bit about me, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more while we go through it. So.
Of course. I mean, yeah. So like you guys may have already heard from Matt. We've been friends for
almost 3 years, 4 years now.
4 years, yeah. It's gonna be 5 actually, because I mean, it's been a year and some months I've graduated already.
Right.
Yeah, and about a year for you, right? Or more or less.
It's exactly a year.
Exactly a year.
Exactly
a year. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, me and Matt have been friends for 5 years. It feels longer, to be honest. And, I'm not trying to get all cheesy or anything, but, I wasn't very active in ABSA prior to him joining. He joined about, I would say, mid career for me.
Yeah.
When I was 2 years into the org already. Yeah. And then you joined.
Yeah. I think 2 years into college life in general.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. But yeah, he joined, and it's funny because, I always joke about it with him and some of our other friends. We call ourselves the Pentagon. Back then
it was 5 of us.
Yeah, five of us. Yeah.
Hey, the 3 of y'all out there, y'all know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully maybe if this, launches off, they will be on the podcast soon.
For sure. Maybe we can have them on.
Yeah. But Matt was kind of like the glue. He was kind of the glue to that pretty much adhered all of us back together.
Oh, thank you, Don.
And it's funny because I never thought in a million years I would ever meet a guy like this guy. This guy is probably the most troll, but the most sincere and honest guy I've ever met. And it's just down to his conviction, how he is as a person, how he chooses to go about his life. It's inspiring, and being around with him, I feel like I need to always one up him whenever I'm with him.
Wow, dude, you're gonna make me blush, dog.
But I mean, let's be honest, I'm the best here. So.
Shit.
But yeah, so that's how me and Matt knew each other. And ABSA, great organization, wonderful organization, started up from students alike.
Yeah.
They saw a discrepancy in the business organization, if you will.
Yeah.
There was a lack of Asian representation amongst the business orgs itself. So they created ABSA.
Yep.
The founders, Ralph, Xavier.
Also David too.
And David too. Yeah, exactly. Which actually I think I saw on Facebook.
He actually just got that post.
Yeah,
hey, good for him, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. And to think from there, it stemmed off to their generation down to ABSA has been around for 8 years now, 7 years?
No, reaching the 10-year mark.
10-year mark. Yeah. Okay. Wow, it's even longer then.
Yeah, I want to say it's this semester or the next.
Okay.
They're almost there. But gotcha. I think it is this semester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so 10 years that organization's been on, and I mean that's crazy to think about, creating something from the ground up.
Yeah, something like we're doing right now,
Exactly. This is our ABSA. It's not as pretty, and it definitely won't be as professional, but you know what? It's cool. And yeah, me and Matt were extremely active in the org
at the time. Yeah.
You did pretty much everything, dude. You did what?
A little bit of everything, pretty much. That's the one thing I didn't do.
You that was back then when they had the old laws.
Yeah. But I mean, ABSA and everything, that was just, a piece of our my college experience and everything like that. So, I mean, let's talk about kind of what was your first couple years like before we met each other?
Oh, dude, man. Well, I mean, first year.
I mean, just college experience in general.
Yeah.
For those of the, for the younger generation out there who might be watching.
Yeah.
You might be going to college or something like that.
Yeah,
or,
for sure.
Or you're in that beginning part of college.
Or you're in college right now. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, first year for me was, I'm sure a lot can attest to this, but the first year for me was extremely confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember distinctly my first semester, I was just batshit confused about absolutely what I needed to do. It was a complete change in pace of like high school, right? High school, you had more or less, you could change your schedule. You could alter it to how you wanted to take. Like, for instance, if you wanted to take a certain class before this certain semester and whatnot, you could have done that. Right. College, you had complete control over that.
Right.
And not only that, you had complete control of your time.
Oh, yeah.
Things you like to do besides school.
Not only choosing the class, but guess what? You could choose if you were going to class that day or not. That's the important part.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and they say once you skip, you'll never dip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, yeah, first year for me was just confusing as hell. And unfortunately, my first semester, I stunk so bad.
Really?
In my grades. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know. I didn't tell a lot of people because I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And ashamed of it. But my first semester, I remember making my very first C ever
in life,
ever in school, life, ever. Yeah. My first ever C, and then on top of that, I was extremely inactive in any kind of like social student life to begin with.
You were just in and out, just class in and out.
Okay, like, go to class, get out, and then rinse and repeat. And I commuted all 4 years too. So I mean, to think just driving even further away from your high school. Go to class, then come back, and then go home, and just to do the same day over. I mean, it can get pretty daunting and just especially
boring. If you're not used to it.
Yeah, for sure. And that was my first year. Second year was a little bit more exciting. I got acquainted to other different types of people. I got adjusted to the whole college life. I've met interesting people through ABSA, which was awesome.
Oh, so you joined ABSA. When did you join ABSA back then?
I think I joined spring of freshman year. And it was through a girl that doesn't really have the greatest ties with ABSA, but I'll leave it at that. I joined through her. She recruited me. And my very first membership actually was free completely because I won the little raffle thing from orientation. Yeah, it was cool. But I didn't use it at all.
Really? Yeah.
I didn't show up to any events.
So were you doing other things on campus, like other things, like maybe another org, maybe other activities?
Man. No, I did absolutely nothing else other than that.
So the whole first year was just nothing.
First year, just well, at the time I had a girlfriend.
Yes.
And so I was busy with her.
Yes.
And my classes and whatnot.
Yes.
And so I felt like there was no time besides that to do anything else.
Right.
And I think I was also working part-time at Abercrombie.
Okay.
Just making a little extra side money. So doing all of that, I felt like there was not a lot of time, which in hindsight, I definitely had more than enough time. I just had horrible time management at the time.
Yeah. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like a lot of people are always like, I think the biggest excuse we always make this day, especially as like younger generation, is, I don't have time to do something.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But the thing is like, if it's important to you, you would make time for it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So in reality, if you think about it, you only sleep like 8 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Right. You mean to tell me that you're going to be busy for the next 16 hours? There's no way.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody always, I think our generation always makes that excuse like, we don't have any time.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's more of what do you set your priorities towards, or what you think is important that you're willing to make time for.
Right. And another thing on that is, besides time, there's a little bit, like economic disparity amongst different classes, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, some would make the argument, if you're, penny pinching and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you clearly don't have enough time because you're probably working more than one job to make ends meet, et cetera, et cetera. And I get that. I totally get that. I mean, I myself have been in a position where, we were strapped for cash. We had to penny pinch a little bit.
Yeah.
But there was, my mom made it. My mom is a true advocate of what it takes to just, when you want something, you'll set the time for it and you pursue it. regardless of whatever your economic status is, what people tell you that you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And she made it happen. And if that's not living proof for me, then I don't know what is. Where if you have something important in your life and you want to make it happen and achieve it, you're going to make it happen.
Right.
It's just a matter of balancing it out. Maybe you might not be able to do it this day, but you could take out an extra hour, maybe
but
over
you find
the
the time to do it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And I think that's another thing too. The weekend is a lot of time on your hands.
I mean, it's just like what we're doing right now. You know, we talked about
we're
this
just talking shit. I mean,
we talked about doing this for like a long time. But you know, finally, you know, we made it a point to like set aside time to go out and do it. You know, I think
exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing that, like you said earlier, a lot of people are lacking is just the I guess the conviction, just the little kick in the butt to go
priorities
do
of
it.
setting it.
Yeah. I mean, anybody can dream up everything they want to do in life, but to actually take that first step, that's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Like for me, for instance, I mean, going back on this podcast, little idea of mine, I had the idea months in advance, like way back then. I would say, you know, like last 6 months of 2019. I've always wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I've been told that my voice is very silky smooth and subtle for it.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh man.
I'm kidding. But you know, people gave me the idea like, hey, you know, maybe you could see yourself doing something on the side as like a voice actor, or maybe something where you have to use your voice often.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, that's a cool idea. Got the idea. And then I've always toyed with it. I was like, oh man, I don't got time for it. Like, when am I going to actually get the time to set this up and whatnot? And, you know, I think one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what, just fuck it. I'm going to go buy my shit. I'm going to buy my equipment, make it happen, set a plan, find someone who's actually willing to go through the bullshit with me.
Yeah.
So, and then here we are now, and it's, it costed a little bit up front. And I personally think this is a great investment, even if this podcast never even took off.
At least, you know, you got the enjoyment out of it, and, you know, you at least did it. Because a lot of people, you know, some people don't even hear the gun go off. Yeah. You know, they don't never take the shot at something.
Yeah. Right.
But anyways, I guess, like, you know, kind of back to, you know, college life and everything. So that was your whole first year and everything like that.
Yeah. First year.
Okay.
Second year more or less was the same.
Okay.
I was a little bit more involved in second year.
Sure.
But to be honest with you, most of it was a blur. And if there was any little piece of advice I could take from those 2 years and to give it to someone else, would probably be, before you even go to the orientation for any college,
sure, have
a plan about how you're going to go about your day-to-day schedule. Not setting your classes, because that's something that you can already set way in advance.
Right.
And then you go to orientation and get it all set up.
Right.
But at least have an idea, like, okay, so if I know my classes are going to be from, I don't know, 8:30 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay. What am I going to do with the extra time allotted afterwards?
Okay.
And if I'm commuting and not, you know, what's the traffic going to look like on a day-to-day basis, right? Because that stuff is constant. There's always going to be traffic here, or there's always going to be a commute for wherever your situation is. But, you know, classes that may fluctuate. So once you get that settled, then you can go ahead and hammer down the things that might actually happen. And then that's the biggest thing I can do in terms of giving an advice, and also get involved. I mean, I made the mistake in my first year of not being involved at all. And yes, it's easy for me to say now, you know, with a bit of a hindsight, but, you know, looking back on it now, I wish I was more active, way more active in the first year, second year, or even throughout the entire college life.
Sure.
Because who knows? I probably could have talked to someone really cool. Probably could have had a great opportunity opened up for me. I could have probably went a different path. You know, I think there's nothing wrong with having more options if you're talking careers to choose from. Or, you know, at the end of the day, you know, everyone needs a friend. Having a new friend on your side would be awesome. You know, more support. So that's something I would have given for advice. If someone wants to take it, but I don't know. But what about you, man? Your first 2 years?
So for me, I'm a little different. I went to community college for the first 2 years.
Right.
A little backstory on that. You know, me being Asian and everybody out there, you know, you want to go, your parents always want you to go to the best school, everything like that. And a little bit of background about my family. Almost everybody went to Texas A&M. And so my whole life growing up,
it's a good school.
Great school. My whole life growing up, I always believed I'm gonna go to Texas A&M. I'm gonna go to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And so when the time came in my senior year of senior year of high school, I remember I was applying to A&M and I got into the school, but I didn't get my major, which is, I wanted to be in business and everything like that. And I remember that really, really hurt me. I was like, man, I really didn't make it.
Yeah.
So because of that, I was super persistent. I was like, okay, I'm going to go a year to community college. I'm going to try again.
Yeah.
And so my first year of community college, it was very similar to like what you were saying. I was just in and out. I went to school. Something actually kind of different happened than what I thought would. Yeah. I started working at this. I started working as well at that time. To make some extra side cash and everything like that. And I started working at this store called Theory. And for those of you who don't know, it's like a retail, like luxury brand kind of thing. But I will say
very luxury. Yeah.
It really changed my perspective. It made me, because of the clientele I was talking to, it was a lot of older generational people.
Oh yeah.
It forced me to talk a certain way, speak a certain way, how to present myself and those kinds of things.
Right.
So I think actually, while it might have been some of the darkest times in my eyes at the time, being in community college and not with my friends, because all my friends went off to, universities and everything like far away and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so I was basically by myself here, in Houston, actually in Cyprus.
Yeah.
But, and during that darkest time, I felt like, oh, I'm not achieving what everybody else was able to do and what, my family was expecting of me and everything.
Right.
But instead, actually, I was actually getting all that experience and everything. And that really shaped me into like a lot of who I am today. A lot of the stuff that I was learning working, retail, but specifically, I was lucky to be working at this higher end retailer that I was working with like older individuals, having to learn that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I never realized how much impact that would have on me and how I hold myself today and everything like that. So that was some of the stuff that I really learned in that first year of college. And then the second year, I reapplied again to go to A&M and then I didn't get it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, like maybe I got to rethink stuff. And, I had a 4.0 in community college and I thought, okay, I should be good. But, not everything. I think this is the biggest part where it taught me your own path is your own to walk. You don't have to follow the same one as your parents. You don't have to follow the same one as anybody else.
Yeah.
And so, I ended up taking, and actually I lied. My mom went to U of H, but I'm talking about my dad's side.
But majority went to
A&M. Yeah. And, I realized, maybe this is my own path to walk. So I applied to U of H and I went to Bauer and I got in. And from there, that's when my second year of community college, that's when I started to try to branch out a little more. I got, I made some friends at Lone Star and everything like that at community college and got myself out of my comfort zone and everything like that.
Right.
So by the time I got to the University of Houston as a junior, I felt like I was already developed into kind of the person I am today. Which for me, I think is a little different perspective than most people, that if you go to a 4-year university straight out the gate.
Right.
And that was just my experience for the first couple of years. Was that
okay.
A lot of it was actually developing a lot of my own personal skills, even though I thought of it as a horrible time.
Yeah.
It actually turned out to be a lot of the stuff that I use even till today, and a lot of things, how I communicate with people and everything today. So it taught me a lot of that stuff. Because I used to be weird, man.
What do you mean? What do you mean used to? You still are, bro.
And, of course, you got to keep some of it, But in high school, I think I was just, dude, every time, you ever have those moments when you go back and you think back about certain times or moments and you just get like weird, you shiver to yourself because weird. You're like, oh my God. You're like, God damn, like I did that. Oh shit.
I have pictures. I have video. I have graphical evidence of me being the cringiest, like literally what I would make fun of now.
For sure.
I mean, I'll admit, I would make fun of myself if I saw my past self 5-6 years ago.
Even the actions you did back then.
Oh,
you're like, oh God, I did that.
My actions, my speech patterns, my hairstyle, my fashion, everything. I mean, but to be fair, times were different.
Yes. No, of course. A lot of things changed.
Times were way different back then.
Yeah.
Like even if we look back in 2010s, even the generation is huge. It's crazy how fast things shift from generation to generation. But so I mean, so like, let me ask you something. What's your thought about, like, you always hear stories about those folks where, I'm not saying that they're whiners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's definitely people out there that are saying, oh, well, I didn't get in so-and-so school. I wasn't given so-and-so opportunities at a young age.
Yeah.
That's where I am now. And then they compare themselves to someone who might be at a higher status.
Right.
So what do you think about those kind of people? What do you say to those?
Man, I think it kind of relates back to what I was, kind of hinted at earlier. I mean, your path is your own path to walk.
Right.
Exactly. I think that's one of the biggest things that you'll learn as you grow up. In the moment, you'll think, oh my God, I'm not following the same path. Oh my God, I'm not doing the same thing. Oh my God, I'm not making it to the point I thought I would.
Right.
And you're going to be like, you'll start to think really negatively.
Yeah.
But I think that if you can look at the positives that where you're at, you're going to realize that somebody always has it worse than you.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's always going to have it harder than you.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you are unfortunately that one soul that is like
down
the
there,
bottom.
But
I guarantee you know how many people are in the world?
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
I think we're close to 8.
Yeah. I mean, 8 billion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus,
yeah.
Like 6 point something, but or 7, I think.
Okay. Well, y'all can Google that.
The stats are out there, but yeah, needless to say, there's a lot of people.
Yeah. And the point is there's always going to be a situation worse than yours, and there's always going to be a situation better than yours.
Right.
So you should just make the best of whatever situation you're in.
Yeah. And in 9 times out of 10, the people that are probably complaining or talking about their current situation, they probably have like, I mean, I don't know percentiles off the top of my head. If I had to like, spitball some numbers here, they're probably like 67% better, or they're in the upper
than what they think they are.
Yeah, 10% of course, better position than the folks that they're probably comparing themselves to. So yeah,
of course, especially with a lot of the social media and stuff these days, because everybody always puts it out there.
Dude. I mean, that's a whole other topic on its own too. Social media.
We won't touch on that one today.
But that's some deep stuff too. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where a lot of the comparison stuff comes in.
Like I'm not him, or she's not me,
exactly.
Kind of
exactly.
thing.
We always look up to these like role models and like on like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
Yeah.
Like these people are making it and everything like that. But in reality, that's like one out of what? Like 8 billion?
I'm 18 years old, multimillionaire.
Yeah.
I've got 6 businesses already.
Yeah.
I'm not even legal to drink, but I'm richer than you and your entire family combined. Yeah. And there's people like that. And I give them credit if it's credit due.
Yeah.
Now, to say any of those individuals out there have worked from 0 to 100 from the ground up, that might be a bit of a hard statement to make.
Not every one of them is like that.
Yeah.
Some of them might have been given.
Some may have actually already been given that lifestyle and that opportunity, which again, that's still not even hitting them for them.
Yeah. I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I'd be lucky if I was in that
position. Who wouldn't want,
be balling out straight out the womb?
Who wouldn't want to be like 2 years old and already richer than like 80% of the entire world?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm exaggerating, of course, but like that's awesome. That's awesome. But I guess it becomes a problem when that kind of lifestyle starts affecting them and changing them, becoming more of a materialistic kind of person, shallow. They kind of feel they feel others are inferior to them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's a personal opinion, right? I mean, I think perspective matters a lot here, but yeah, I mean, and it's like what Matt said, and I felt this too with I feel this all the time actually still with my parents to this day, is like, I feel almost compelled, and I don't know if it's because I'm Asian or it's just how I was grown or raised, I should say, but I always feel compelled that I had to follow a very traditional path.
Yeah.
Right. It could have been like I've been told numerous times, you will make a great lawyer because you love to fucking argue.
Yeah.
You love to debate with other folks, even if there's no need to. And I'm like, yeah, you may be right, but I don't see I possess the aptitude for that.
Sure.
And it's not something that it's in high interest for me personally. I'm just going to say it. But yeah, I mean, lawyers, doctors, engineers, any kind of like basically STEM major field.
Yeah.
I was kind of, you kind of get that nudge. But fortunately my parents, they never even said it like, you need to go do this, you need to go do that.
Yeah.
They've always been really supportive of whatever I chose to do in my life. they would give me 100% of that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I remember right out of college, I was an MIS major, by the way, and that's Management Information Systems, kind of like the business version of CIS majors.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, I specifically chose that major literally off of whim. Like someone just told me, oh, MIS majors right out of the gate, they probably have the highest starting salary than any of the other majors combined.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that sounds great. And that's literally from that point, that was literally my deciding factor. Like, oh, I'm going to go be an MIS major. I didn't even look into it. I didn't even know what the hell it was even about.
Right.
From the surface, it looked like it was just about computers and so forth. And I was like, okay, I can do that because I've built a computer before. Nothing like that.
No, it's nothing
like that.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that at all. And even MIS at itself is such a broad topic. There's so many different practices and fields of study that are underneath that umbrella. But yeah, I chose to be an MIS major.
Yeah.
Got out of college, and you know, I was with the company, a staffing firm called Genuine. And through them, I was working with IBM for like, I don't know, a couple of years or a year or so. I don't know, something like that. And it turns out like that 9-to-5 life, that corporate life, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with it inherently. I just didn't see myself, you know, falling down that path 5-10 years plus.
Right.
And again, not to hate on it and not to even discredit of anything. I think it's a great choice. If anything, I would recommend that being your starting position.
Try it,
out of college. And there's nothing wrong with just trying it. Exactly. Especially if you're in college, you're in business, you're not too sure what you want to do, but you do know that you want to work in some sort of corporate structure. That's a great way to start. You get so many benefits. The salary is great. I mean, it gives a similar structure into like, you know, how your college may be where you have a work schedule and whatnot.
Right.
And so, yeah, from there, it's a good starting point. But if you find yourself, and I tell myself this all the time too, if you find yourself down the road not part of that, or you don't feel like it's really you, there's nothing wrong with getting out of that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, backlash and just, you know, just knee-jerk reactions and judgments off the bat when I made the announcement that, oh, I don't work with IBM / Genuine anymore. You know, I got huge flack about that. I was like, oh man, you're throwing your life away. There's so much potential. IBM's a great company, top name. And with a staffing agency, you could have went anywhere else. And I was like, yeah, I could have. I probably would have. But I knew deep down it wasn't for me. You know, the work I was doing, the hours I was working, and the people I was engaging with, it was pretty miserable, to say at the very least. You know, I think I do a pretty good job kind of hiding that fact that it was miserable, but I didn't like it. And, you know, I've been blessed and have been fortunate enough to have an opportunity like, you know, our family company here, where I could have just got on here instead, work over here and make a name for myself here. And then still possess the same I guess the same kind of like income and the ability to like afford the things I want to afford and whatnot, and time, for instance. I've been blessed to have those opportunities given to me. So I didn't really see much of a kickback, if you will.
Sure.
On like, you know, losing out on that job and going somewhere else completely.
Right.
But my field of focus, you know, from MIS to basically graphic design and sign manufacturing now, it's crazy. It's like almost a 180. And it feels weird. It feels wrong. It feels like I should have went deeper into my major. But you know, I could dwell on it all I want and say, oh man, I wasted 4 years and whatnot. But the minute you start putting yourself in that mindset, it's dangerous and it's almost unhealthy for you to have that, because then you're going to start nitpicking at everything else. Like, oh, I could have saved an extra year here, or I could have done this, or could have done that. You could have, you would have, you should have, but at the end of the day, you didn't, and you should just move on from there and make the best of your situation then. So, yeah, I
think actually, you know, funny you bring that topic up, you know, of, you know, you feel like maybe if you're not doing what your major was, you know, you feel like you wasted that time. But I think that kind of relates back to the idea of, well, what's the value of college?
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of people always think the value of college is, oh, I'm going to go get the degree that I'm going to be in for the rest of my life and everything like that. And and if you think like that, you know, then you just think of college as just school.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things, you know, I tried to preach, and something that, you know, we definitely tried to preach in ABSA and all the other things that we used to do, was that school, I mean, college should be more than just school. You know, if you think about it, you know, the real value in my eyes for college is, if you think about it, you know, if you look around to your left and right when you're in a classroom, the next workforce is not the one that's there right now.
Yeah,
it's definitely everybody that you're sitting with in there.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
And if you think about it, if you can make those connections before you get into the workplace.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let's say one day you need to make something happen for a company, and then you might happen to already know a person that already does that. You know, that's the real value of it. Getting to be around all of these different experiences, all these different, you know, mindsets, everything like that.
Right.
That is what really preps you for the outside world, gets you ready to work with other people and everything like that. Right. I think that's the real value of college, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I think just, you know, being a part of getting the opportunity to join student orgs, getting to use even the gym there for free. Yeah, I mean, not for free, but you know, you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, you're paying for college, and you know, the dollar value of college has gone up significantly.
Yeah.
The real value of it is using it to do all the other stuff as well. Like, don't just do the classes.
Right. And that's to go way back in the beginning of this little discussion about, you know, what advice you would give. And again, this probably would be a great piece of advice is, you know, college is a great, you hear it all the time, but college is when you want to start experimenting and like learn about yourself and learn what you want to do besides just school.
Yep.
And I realized that post-college, unfortunately, during then, I never thought too much about it. I knew, like, you know, obviously there's more value to the college than college itself, the schoolwork and all that, but I never thought too deep about it. Not into, you know, post-college life, I thought, you know what? I'm actually thankful I went through 4 years of college, because I learned all the little nuances of like business communication and networking, how to mingle with others, how to network very efficiently and well.
Right.
Understanding different perspectives, know that like literally everyone is never going to agree with you 100%.
Oh yeah.
Learning how to handle those different opinions and perspectives and still have a civil conversation with them about anything. Because let's face it, in the business environment, or really in any environment, you're going to bump into somebody you're not going to agree with. They might be the polar opposite of you, right? You might, let's say you're Catholic, you might bump into an atheist, and a hardcore one at that, and he might just hammer you at everything that you believe in. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine, because that's his beliefs.
It gets you kind of, you know, opened up to all these different viewpoints.
Yeah, exactly. It takes someone that's sheltered and kind of puts them out in the real world a little bit. You know, college is still a little bit of a safe space.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure, yeah.
But it gives you a little bit of taste of what the real world's like. And when you get out of it, I mean, you could probably attest to this too. I mean, the real world is pretty nasty. I mean, there's a lot of it's unfiltered.
You got to do a lot more looking out for yourself.
Yeah, it's unfiltered. It's raw. It's, if you're not prepared for it, it'll hit you like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the great thing about college. It kind of preps you for all those little moments. You may not notice it right now. It may not even be on paper of like what kind of value you're getting from this. Right. And it's not always clear cut, but when you notice it and you see it happening, you're going to be thankful that, you know, you went to college for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I mean, the rec was awesome. I think I was not very healthy during college, but post-college, at least I learned about, you know, at least during the times when I went to the rec, you know, I think we worked out a few times together and whatnot.
Couple. No, well, that semester we tried.
Yeah.
We tried. No, we actually tried.
We tried. Yeah. A few times. You know, it gave the idea of just health and fitness in my mind. And then from there, I took it upon myself to do more research. And
after college.
Yeah. And now I'm like very well into it.
But that's like a lot of the stuff you would have never experienced if you didn't go do all these things outside of it.
I wouldn't probably even dare step into a gym had I not went to the rec at U of H.
Yeah.
Or let alone even let you persuade me otherwise to go.
Yeah. You know? Well, that was more because Leo kept making us eat out all those times. Oh, so then we're just like, dude, I feel like awful.
Hickory Hollow.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
Delicious.
So bad.
So good. I mean,
but so bad. For you. But good.
You would hit us up. Like, are you guys down for lunch?
Skip class every time.
Skip class. Yes. Or like right after class.
Yeah.
I'm already on the corner waiting for him to pick me up.
So with that, actually, you know, we kind of covered the beginning of college and everything like that.
Yeah.
But let's go into like the years when we actually kind of knew each other in college, the kind of back half of college. So what was kind of your experience in that time?
Oh man, that was the best. I'm gonna, and I'm not saying this because you're here, but my junior year, correction, actually my last 2 years were probably the best 2 years.
That's the same thing I say, man.
Best 2 years I ever had in college. Probably in my whole
2 years
life.
of life.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I made a lot of great friends. You know, at least I like to think I made a lot of great friends.
Yeah.
You know, met awesome people, had great conversations, did a lot of cool, fun stuff.
Dude, man, we did
just
a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It was cool.
We camped together. We, you know, hung out together overnights, had plenty of like late night conversations.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Had parties, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, you know.
Yeah. There's I mean, for those that know us, I mean, there's like a party that, you know,
bunch of good times, but you know, a bunch of those.
Yeah, it's a few of those.
We'll get into that next time.
Some I regret, some I don't. But yeah, I mean, it was a great 2 years. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get cheesy or, you know, corny about it or anything, but it's just like those 2 years, I could have had the worst experience in high school, middle school, whatever, and the worst 2 years of college. But for those 2 years, that was worth it. That was worth all the humiliation, all the embarrassment, whatever.
Just all the crap you had to go.
All that crap. Those 2 years were worth it. And
no, I agree.
Yeah. What made it worth it was honestly the people I met.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
The people I met, the people that I've met that introduced me to different new opportunities. Yeah. Things that I've learned during then. I was definitely more, I wouldn't say tunnel vision, but definitely I possessed a much smaller view of what the world was and what I wanted. Yeah. Before those last 2 years, and then when those 2 years came, you know, my whole view on everything just expanded, and I think I became more well rounded overall. But yeah, man, it was a great last 2 years, and honestly, those 2 years flew by like months. It felt like months to me.
Yeah, dude, it was so quick.
Yeah,
so quick. I felt like the last 2 years just blink of an eye.
Yeah, like wasn't graduation for you? It felt like.
God, I was like, I just got here.
Yeah, like I remember going to my orientation, you know, in a few semesters in between, and now all of a sudden I'm paying the fee to apply for graduation. Yeah. And now I'm over here walking the stage. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like graduation was yours was at night too, right?
I was in early morning.
Early morning. Yeah, right. Yeah. It wasn't gotcha.
Yeah, because ours was still at NRG because the what was the Fertitta Center was getting rebuilt.
Yeah, it was being renovated out heavily
at the time.
Man, yeah, mine was at the evening time, unfortunately. So it was exhausting at the very least. But yeah, man, graduation was a blur. Well, a blur in a sense that like it was like a second out of like an hour long of different events. Like I could remember day to day what I was doing during those 2 years, but graduation was a small bit of it. Yeah. It was a small bit of it. And it was bittersweet at the very least. And it felt like even after graduation, it felt like I just got this huge disconnect. Like immediately I just got the guillotine, just, okay, you're done with college, done. That's it.
Yeah, of course.
And all of a sudden I lost this like bond I had with U of H and with Bauer and whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny that I think about that now, because then that explains a lot of why alumni come back and they give back to the student orgs. I guess that's them kind of, I don't know.
Still having ties.
Yeah. Maybe reattaching that bond, or, you know, just overall just giving back to the orgs that gave them something when they were starting out, kind of thing. Yeah. You know, I feel that sometimes. I do.
Oh yeah.
I do. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But your last 2 years, blur too?
Man, my last 2 years, well, you know, so come from community college, I didn't really have like a college experience. Even the first 2 years, I didn't really get the chance to. So man, I was just, when I first got to U of H, I remember I was very fortunate that, you know, I was able to, you know, meet a bunch of really cool and diverse group of people. Yeah. You know, that accepted me and you know, pushed me to be better than even what I was at that point, you know?
Yeah, right.
And man, that at least those first 2 years, because I had to go 2 years in another semester after.
Yeah,
right. But those 2 years, man, I think like you said, it was probably the best years of my life.
Best
for
years,
sure. Yeah. Just because there was so many different things happening. I was experiencing so many different things.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I didn't really have any like responsibilities or anything yet.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you start living on your, you know, when you start living post-life college, you know, or you start living on your own.
Yeah.
You start having that kind of mindset of, oh, I have to do these things. I have to do these things.
Yeah.
These certain things that you must do to be an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you're in college still, oh my God, dude, you could get away with anything. It was like free reign. You didn't have to worry about nothing. The only thing you worried about was just going to class if you needed to.
Yeah.
Keep your grades up. What party you were going to on Saturday, and you know, what kind of, you know, people you wanted to surround yourself with. And that kind of stuff. So that was probably the, like I said, the best time of my life for sure. Those 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it really taught me how to enjoy myself.
You think, you know, that's such a simple statement, right? How to enjoy yourself. You think you would know how to enjoy yourself.
Oh yeah. You think so, but
you think so, but you don't. Yeah. Not until you've, I wouldn't say try everything, but at least went out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Cause there's two ends of the spectrum when it comes to that. It's like, you know, you can either be not enjoying it as much as you should be.
Yeah.
AKA you know, you don't go to anything.
Yeah.
Kind of just in and out school wise, or you can be over the top. You know, you could be not worrying about school at all, but just having too much fun at the same time.
Out,
yeah. So, you know, what I mean by that is like, I learned how to enjoy myself, you know, find that median for you, you know, whatever it may be. You might be more introverted. You might not want to be around as much. You might be more extroverted. You might be around more.
Yeah.
You know?
Finding balance.
Finding the balance for you personally, you know, is probably the biggest thing I learned those 2 years was how to enjoy myself.
How to enjoy yourself. Yeah. Oh, you definitely enjoyed yourself.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
You enjoyed yourself.
For sure.
I enjoyed myself with you.
Yes. Weird way to put it. But you know, hey, we'll live with it. We'll live with it.
Take that out of context. That sounds, I could take it in so many other ways. Yeah. How to enjoy yourself. I like that. I like that a lot. It's, it's funny that, you know, you talk about that just because, you know, I always thought how to enjoy yourself is just, you know, you do what you like to do and that's about it.
Yeah.